Session 22, Origins and Related Words. 1. How to tickle. Titillate comes from a Latin verb meaning to tickle, and may be used both literally and figuratively. That is, literally, you can titillate by gentle touches in strategic places. You are then causing an actual, and always very pleasant, physical sensation. Or you can figuratively titillate people, or their minds, fancies, palates, and this is the more common use of the word, by charm, brilliance, wit, promises, or in any other way your imagination can conceive. Titillation has the added meaning of light sexual stimulation. Note that both noun and verb are spelled with a double I, not a double T. 2. How to flatter. A compliment is a pleasant and courteous expression of praise. Flattery is stronger than a compliment and often considered insincere. Adulation is flattery, and worship carried to an excessive, ridiculous degree. There are often public figures, entertainers, musicians, government officials, etc., who receive widespread adulation, but those not in the public eye can also be adulated, as a teacher by students, a wife by husband, and vice versa, a doctor by patients, and so on. The derivation is from a Latin verb meaning to fawn upon. The adjective adulatory ends in ori, a suffix we are meeting for the first time in these pages. Other adjective suffixes, al, ic, ical, us. 3. Ways of writing. Proscribe to forbid is commonly used for medical, religious, or legal prohibitions. A doctor proscribes a food, drug, or activity that might prove harmful to the patient. The church prescribes or announces a prescription against such activities as may harm its parishioners. The law prescribes behavior detrimental to the public welfare. Generally, one might concede proscribed activities are the most pleasant ones. As Alexander Woolcott once remarked, if something is pleasurable, it's sure to be either immoral, illegal, or fattening. The derivation is the prefix pro before plus scribo, scriptus, to write. In ancient Roman times, a man's name was written on a public bulletin board if he had committed some crime for which his property or life was to be forfeited. Roman citizens, in good standing, would thereby know to avoid him. In a similar sense, the doctor writes down those foods or activities that are likely to commit crimes against the patient's health. In that way, the patient knows to avoid them. Scribo, scriptus is the building block of scores of common English words: scribe, scribble, prescribe, describe, subscribe, script, the scriptures, manuscript, typescript, etc. Describe uses the prefix d, down. To describe is, etymologically, to write down, about. Manuscript, combining manus, hand, as in manual labor, with scriptus, is something handwritten. The word was coined before the invention of the typewriter. The scriptures are holy writings. To subscribe, as to a magazine, is to write one's name under an order or contract, under, as in subway, subsurface, etc. To subscribe to a philosophy or a principle is figuratively to write one's name under the statement of such philosophy or principle. To inscribe is to write in or into a book, for example, or metal or stone. A postscript is something written after, Latin, post, after, the main part is finished. Note how scribe verbs change to nouns and adjectives. Verb noun, adjective, prescribe, prescription, prescriptive, subscribe, subscription, subscriptive. Can you follow the pattern? Describe blank blank, inscribe blank blank, proscribe. 4. It's obvious. You are familiar with the word via, by way of, which is from the Latin word for road. The Via Appia was one of the famous highways of ancient Roman times. When something is obvious, etymologically it is right there in the middle of the road where no one can fail to see it. Hence, easily seen, not hidden, conspicuous. And if you meet an obstacle in the road and dispose of it forthwith, you are doing what obviate says. Thus, if you review your work daily in some college subject, frenzied cramming at the end of the semester will be obviated. A large and steady income obviates fears of financial insecurity. Leaving for work early will obviate worry about being late. To obviate, then, is to make unnecessary, to do away with, to prevent by taking effective measures or steps against an occurrence, a feeling, a requirement, etc. The noun is obviation. Surprisingly, via road is the root in the English word trivial, try three. Where three roads intersect, you are likely to find busy traffic, lots of people, in short, a fairly public place, so you are not going to talk of important or confidential matters lest you be overheard. You will instead talk of trivial things, whatever is unimportant without great significance. You will confine your conversation to trivialities or to trivia, also a plural noun, pronounced trivia, insignificant trifles. Fifth war. Militate derives from militus, one of the forms of the Latin noun meaning soldier or fighting man. If something militates against you, it fights against you, that is, works to your disadvantage. Thus, your timidity may militate against your keeping your friends. Militate is always followed by the preposition against, and, like obviate, never takes a personal subject. You don't militate against anyone, but some habit, action, tendency, etc. militates against someone or something. The adjective militant comes from the same root. A militant reformer is one who fights for reforms. A militant campaign is one waged aggressively and with determination. The noun is militancy, and militant is also a noun for the person. Sally is a militant in the women's liberation movement. Military and militia also have their origin in militus. 6. First, the bad news. Built on Latin malus, bad, evil. To malign is to speak evil about, to defame, to slander. Malign is also an adjective meaning bad, harmful, evil, hateful, as in the malign influence of his unconscious will to fail. Another adjective form is malignant, as in a malignant glance. That is one showing deep hatred, or a malignant growth. That is, one that is cancerous, bad. The noun of malignant is malignancy, which, medically, is a cancerous growth, or generally the condition, state, or attitude of harmfulness, hatefulness, evil intent, etc. The noun form of the adjective malign is malignity. Observe how we can construct English words by combining malus with other Latin roots. Add the root dico, dictus, to say or tell, to form malediction, a curse, that is, an evil saying. Adjective, maledictory. Add the root volo, to wish, to will, or to be willing, and we can construct the adjective malevolent, wishing evil or harm, a malevolent glance, attitude, feeling, etc. The noun is malevolence. Add the root facio, factus, to do or make, also spelled in English words fec, fic, factus, or as a verb ending fi, to form the adjective maleficent, doing harm or evil, or causing hurt. Maleficent acts, deeds, behavior. Can you figure out and pronounce the noun form of maleficent? A malefactor is a wrongdoer, an evildoer, a criminal. A malefactor commits a malefaction, a crime, an evil deed. French is a Romance language, that is, a language based on Roman or Latin, as are also Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, and Romanian. And so Latin malus became French mal, bad, the source of maladroit, clumsy, bungling, awkward, unskillful, etymologically having a bad right hand. See adroit, chapter 3. The noun is maladroitness, also from French mal, malaise, an indefinite feeling of bodily discomfort, as in a mild illness or as a symptom preceding an illness. Etymologically, bad ease, just as disease, dis-ease, is lack of ease. Other common words that you are familiar with also spring from Latin malus, malicious, malice, malady, and the same malus functions as a prefix in words like maladjusted, malcontent, malpractice, malnutrition, etc., all with the connotation of badness. And what's the good news? See Session 23. Review of etymology, prefix, root, suffix, meaning 1-ory adjective suffix, 2 scribo, scriptus, to write, 3 down, 4 manus hand, 5 sub, under, 6 in, into, 7th post after, 8 via road, 9 try 3, 10th militus soldier, 11th malice bad, evil, 12 dico, dictus to say, tell, 13th volo to wish, 14 facio, fec fic fi, to do, make, 15 ens, ansi noun suffix. Working with the words. Can you pronounce the words? 1 titillation, 2 adulation, 3 adulatory, 4 proscription, 5 proscriptive, 6 obviation, 7 trivial, 8 trivialities, 9 trivia, 10th militant, 11th militancy, 12 malign, 13 malignity, 14 malignant, 15 malignancy. Can you pronounce the words? 1 malediction, 2 maledictory, 3 malevolent, 4 malevolence, 5 maleficent, 6 maleficence, 7th malefactor, 8 malefaction, 9 maladroit, 10 maladroitness, 11 malaise. Can you work with the words? A. Prohibition, B. Hatefulness, harmfulness, C. Clumsiness, D. Quality of wishing evil, ill will, E. Prevention, fact or act of making unnecessary or of doing away with, F. Worship, excessive flattery, G. Vague feeling of bodily discomfort, H. Pleasurable stimulation, tickling, I. A curse, J. Aggressiveness. Can you work with the words? A. Aggressive, fighting, B. Of no great consequence, C. Bearing ill will, wishing harm, D. Of the nature of curses, E. Clumsy, awkward, F. Worshipful, adoring, G. Bad, harmful, hurtful, H. Relating or pertaining to prohibitions. Do you understand the words? 1. Does a malignant look indicate kindly feelings, yes or no? 2. Is a cancer sometimes called a malignancy, yes or no? 3. Are trivialities important, yes or no? 4. If your house is cluttered with trivia, are these objects of great value, yes or no? 5. Do people enjoy having maledictions hurled at them, yes or no? 6. Is a maleficent act likely to cause harm or hurt, yes or no? 7. Does maladroitness show skill, yes or no? 8. Is a malefactor a wrongdoer, yes or no? 9. Does an adulatory attitude show exaggerated admiration, yes or no? 10. Is militancy the same as passiveness, yes or no? Can you recall the words? 1. Clumsy, awkward. 2. Bearing ill will, wishing harm. 3. Pleasurable stimulation. 4. A person aggressively fighting for a cause. 5. Prohibition against something injurious. 6. Excessive flattery, exaggerated admiration. 7. Vague feeling of general physical discomfort. 8. A criminal, a wrongdoer. 9. A curse. 10. A crime, bad or evil act or behavior. Can you recall the words? 1. fact or act of making unnecessary or of taking effective steps toward prevention. 2. Aggressive attitude. 3. Harmful, hurtful, bad. 4. Unimportant, insignificant. 5. Unimportant, insignificant things, trifles. 6. Cursing, of the nature of or relating to curses, adjective. 7. Worshipful. End of Session 22.